I'm not really too high or too low on wins or losses anymore. Obviously, this was a good win, but my goal, the only thing that I see is UFC. Whether that's through the Contender Series, whether that's a short notice call, that's my end goal.
Christopher de Santiago with MMA Islander. Today we're joined by San Antonio's own, the Dragon, Zack Borrego, who's coming off a knockout victory in his last fight at Fury FC 85 over Cameron Presher. Zack, how's it going today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Feeling good. Enjoying that win. Just got through training and getting ready for what's next.
Are you back in San Antonio?
Yeah, so I got back probably Monday afternoonish. Enjoyed the rest of that day and how travel goes, getting all your stuff, back in line. But today's kind of the first day back in my routine and we're going good so far.
I know you fought in Houston your last time out. I know it's not your hometown, but is fighting in Houston kind of like the second best thing to fighting in San Antonio?
Yeah, of course, fighting at home is always comfortable. Sleeping in your own bed is the biggest thing. It seems almost like just another training day. But yeah, I got lots of love for Houston. Hopefully, I gained some of their fans. I know it was a little weird fighting one of their hometown guys, but I got family in Houston, and so I'm always there. Like I said in my post fight interview, it's really is like my second home. There's kind of a big, San Antonio versus Houston MMA type of thing just because we're so close together. But what path I'm on, man, is I'm trying to get to the UFC. I'm trying to be back. And whoever they put in front of me is kind of just a stepping stone. And, I hope to work with those guys, soon. And like I said, I got nothing but love for Houston, man.
You let the hands go in your last fight, but we did see a little bit of your grappling in that first round. How happy are you to show the improvements in your game?
That's kind of one thing we were trying to do, with this fight is we really wanted to make a statement. Obviously, I'm kind of known as a striker. All of my other wins have been by knockout. I've gone to decision once. In that fight, I showed a little bit of my grappling, but it was still very, very green. That's one thing that I feel like a lot of people are maybe sleeping on me, and to be fair, I haven't really shown it, but it's something that we're drilling on, we're working on constantly. I don't want to be a one-dimensional fighter. Obviously, I like to be on the feet. I like to be entertaining, and knockouts are very entertaining, but that aspect of my game is still developing, and I'm ready to show it. So it was good to show it. It was good to kind of do things right. But as I look back at the tape, I'm like, I'm seeing all these mistakes, that happened within that little grappling exchange. So it's a work in progress, man. But it is definitely in my tool set, and I'm willing to use it whenever I need to.
Have you seen the? Have you had the chance to watch the fight back yet?
Yeah, I finally watched it. Me and my pops watched it together. Maybe the next day, that Monday, and we always watch our fights back, win or lose, and we give ourselves an honest grade as to how our performance was. We try to take away the things that we can correct, and build off of the things that we did well. So I was able to watch it back, and like I said, I think it was a good fight. I felt kind of weird, man. It was like I was supposed to fight in November of the year before. That fight fell through fight week. My opponent, pulled out for whatever reason. And I was, kind of in a place where I could have taken something, but it really didn't make sense. So me and my team kind of just sat back, and we said, let's stay in camp. We had built so much, for that fight. We didn't want to lose anything. But I do, if I'm being completely honest, like I was a little nervous for this one. It felt like it had been a while, and obviously fighting in my opponent's hometown, they're kind of building him up as a big prospect, which he is. It was a little different, but like I said, it was good to be back in the cage, and I feel like that 2 round mark kind of got me comfortable again. So yeah.
Mhm. After that head kick that you drew at him in the second round, like, did you kind of feel like you smelled blood in the water there? Because obviously you rallied with punches, but did you kind of smell the blood in the water after the head kick?
Oh, for sure, man. Like The one thing about my striking is, and again, with age, with experience, I've kind of learned my style in a way, if that makes sense. It's very methodical. Like everything I do has a purpose, and so we knew the head kick was going to be there. It was funny because my team has grown so much. Me and my dad have been training since basically I could walk. We've added so many additions. I've cross trained with so many people, but my dad always has like these one liners, man, that just kind of like always seem to present themselves. And so at the end of the round, he had told me, okay, now we're ready, to start showing that head kick. I was going low before, and I was kind of waiting for his hands to drop, which I never really saw it. He's being very responsible. But right before that kick, we were listening back to it, and I heard my pops yell, "Go for it!" Which I knew what that kick was doing, and sure enough, my placement with my kicks are really really good. And even though his hand was up, I knew I had chin checked him. So yeah, I came in. I didn't know the cage was that close to him, so I was trying to jump for a flying knee, and it kind of just looked a little awkward. But I'm happy that I was able to distance myself out, not rush anything, and then land the right shot.
Is this your first time fighting a guy with like a similar amount of tattoos like you have?
uh Man, what's funny about this opponent is we were actually supposed to fight as amateurs. So we were supposed to fight as for the amateur belt at 205 pounds. And I joked with him after. I'm like, it seems like we're on the same path because after every fight, I usually get a new tattoo edition. And it seems like he's been doing the same thing. So yeah, it was a little cool, man, to have a who had the best tattoos in that fight.
So after this one, are you planning on getting a tattoo to commemorate this victory?
Yeah, I like to, man. Obviously I was young in my career when I started getting these tattoos. Tattoos are expensive, man. So when you're 24, 25, you get a little check. Of course, you want to spend it on some dumb things. But because I was doing that so much, I feel like every tattoo that I've gotten after each one of my fight kind of tells its own little story. And I'm already hitting up my tattoo artist, man, about some new pieces that we're gonna get added. I have half a dragon on my back. The piece is supposed to be finished. It's a sick dragon, man. If you guys take a look, y'all will see. But we'll probably finish that up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, if the wins keep coming, I mean, you're just gonna be tatted from like head to toe, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, it's hopefully by the end of 2024, once them UFC checks and UFC bonuses start coming up, we'll have some good pieces put together.
Who has the best tattoos in MMA right now?
Oh, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. The one that comes out to me, this is funny that you asked. I was just looking at some of Sean Brady's highlights, and he's got some sick tattoos, man. I feel like he's one of the ones that are slept on. But of course, you got Volkov. He's got some sick pieces. Um, you know, I like
Dan
Oliveira.
Hooker.
Oliveira's, yeah,
Have you seen
man.
Dan
Not
Hooker's tattoos?
he has been getting tatted up. I'm telling you, they're addicting. Once you get one, you can't stop. So there's definitely, some competition in the UFC, but I know once I get there, I'm gonna make my statement with mine.
You made a statement out last time out on Sunday. Do you feel like those two losses, kind of just helped you reevaluate your game and to make those improvements in 2023? Like, what kind of improvements did you make last year after those two losses?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I don't like to say this so much, but I just still feel very young in my career. And the age of which I am, and my experience level maybe just wasn't up to par with some of the guys that I fought. Obviously, I had the Bo Nickal fight when I was 3-0 and 6 months into my pro career. And we knew what it was. Everyone likes to talk about, oh, this was a setup or whatever. We knew that if we went in there against a guy who was 1-0, and we win, we're the next biggest thing. And if it doesn't, then we're still very, very young in my career. And so, one thing that I feel like I've always been good on is taking bad situations and trying to find things that are good. I had two back-to-back losses, which is the first time ever in my career that's really happened. And then, it forced me to reevaluate a lot of things. Obviously, the grappling was a big thing. That's continuing to be a work in progress. But after my last fight in July, I felt like the hands were something that I needed to work on. And so, I linked up with a full-time boxing coach. I was able to get some boxing rounds in with pro boxers who are, 9-0, 10-0, signed to some big managers out there. So it was good to kind of, be a student, be fresh in the game. I'm a martial artist at heart, and I truly feel that there's always something I can improve on. So those losses are it's always kind of like a tough feeling to have to sit back and watch your tape when you're not performing to your best. But at the end of the day, man, it sounds so cliche, but that's where the growing is done the most. And I feel like this year, especially with my last fight falling through, is kind of just set itself up for me to be in the gym and finally showcase the skills that I've been putting together.
Hmm. What can you say about that experience fighting Bo Nickal, having the lights of fighting on Contender Series to get that big spotlight, to taking a challenge that like 6 months into your pro career? Like, what can you say about that experience as a whole?
I wouldn't change anything. A lot of people, again, like when you're that young in your career, you have to kind of like that's the chance to go for it. It'd be different if maybe I'm sitting like 2 years and that's the only chance that I'm gonna have. It was the timing just kind of fit. We said, we not a lot of people really knew what he was about. Everyone obviously knew he was a great wrestler, but at that time, I think he was 1-0, 2-0, or something like that. So we're like, it's kind of like he's still fresh too. The experience overall, I think, has just propelled me so much. Even though I've had some road bumps, still, I feel like it's still taught me like one that it's possible. A lot of people have dreams of getting to the UFC, but there's never really like sometimes a clear route. I know with a promotion like Fury, if you get finishes, if you're willing to fight whoever, you're gonna get put in the spotlight, and the matchmakers are watching, and that opportunity can come. I think being able to experience it that young in my career has kind of humbled me a little bit. It showed me what level that it takes to be there. And it's fresh in my mind always. Every time I'm training, I've changed a lot of things because I know what it takes now to be there. The pressure of the moment, was one big thing that I felt like I really didn't experience before, and I'm glad it happened the way it happened. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything. I feel like everything has taught me a lesson. I'm finally a little bit more mature in age now that I think it's all for something. And this year I plan to prove everything coming together.
In your post-fight interview, you said that this is the year of the Dragon. What do you foresee happening in 2024 for you? Do you see a Fury FC a championship belt? Do you see a UFC contract? What do you see happening this year?
Yeah, man. When I say that, that's one thing again that I've learned from that. I'm not really too high or too low on wins or losses anymore. Obviously, this was a good win, but my goal, the only thing that I see is UFC. Whether that's through the Contender Series, whether that's a short notice call, that's my end goal. So whoever's put in front of me, I know that they're just kind of a stepping stone to where I got to get to next. The year of the dragon is supposed to be, for me, when I say that, it's encompassing everything that I've been through my last year and a half of my pro career, learning from my mistakes and finally putting it together. As you can tell in my last fight, I wasn't really trying to go to the judges. I'm trying to finish the fight. And like I said, it's no disrespect to my opponent. It's no disrespect to anybody who's up next, but I got goals to reach, and they just so happen to be in front of me. So, yeah, I definitely see me being in the UFC by the end of the year. Whether that's a contender series, whether that's a short notice call, whatever it may be, we're going to be ready. I'm working with a nutritionist full time now. I'm making sure that my weight's good, and I'm not blowing up in between camps, which is an issue that I've had before. And we're 2 days after my fight, I'm back fully training. So it's a good win. It's something that I knew I was supposed to do, and I took care of business, and we're moving on to the next.
I think that's all the questions I had for you, Zach. I just want to thank you again for the time and opportunity. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans out there watching?
No, the only thing I'd like to say, man, is just it really is the year of the dragon. I feel like everything's kind of come full circle. I'm an exciting fighter. I'm willing to do what it takes to finish the fight. I hate I hate, especially in the state of Texas, going to the judges. So any fight that you see of me is going to be, an exciting fight. Um, and like I said, man, whoever they put in front of me, it's just the next stepping stone. A big shout out to all my coaches, my sponsors. My biggest sponsor, you're probably going to be hearing from them, pretty soon in the UFC. I'm wearing their hat right now, Live Oak Vodka. They're taking over the vodka brand in Texas. But everyone else that's been with me, let's keep it going. And like I said, it's a big year for us.